on our audio format, because why not?
I still really can't be spending nearly £16 every month.
Yes, and which is understandable. But also me neither, because, there are things.
Somebody's going to Japan.
Somebody's going to Japan, so I need to save money. But yes, soon you will see our faces, and you can see our faces actually if you go over to Couch Soup. And now Katie is also joining us for the watching now on Daredevil Born Again, and she will be back for Andor season 2 as well.
Yep.
So you can see our faces there. So we're not completely gone. And also, if you've been following us, then you might have realized that we've been gone for a while.
Just a bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. But we figured things out, and we came to the conclusion that from now on, the new format for the podcast is that you will get a new episode at the end probably of every month, where we just talk about everything that we experienced, enjoyed, not enjoyed, and we're just gonna do that, and it's just gonna be a big movie talk episode at the end of every month or at the beginning of every month, depending on how it comes out in scheduling. Schedules, fun times, life, and everything. But yes, for now we're back, and this is our first episode where we're gonna do what I just said. So before we get into it, Katie, do you want to introduce our podcast?
Oh yeah, that bit. Hi everyone, welcome to All the Films We Judged Before. I'm Katie, that's Lily Kay.
That's me.
I feel every time it's been years, and yet every time I do that I feel like there's something I'm missing at the end of it.
No.
And there isn't.
No.
That's it. But every time I'm like, feels like there should be like another beat to it. I don't know.
Yeah. No, yeah, we're good. But I know what you mean, because I always feel like I'm just missing things. But alas, I'm not. No. All right. So, how is this going to work? That was the question that Katie asked me. I do not know.
Pretty much.
I don't know. I think we're just gonna get into it as we were. It's basically every time I think it's gonna be like a very extended edition of like what have we been watching, and what we want to talk about and whatnot. So yeah, I think
my thought is I just don't want it to end up us being like, well, I watched this and I watched this and I watched this, and then we kind of don't do anything with it, right? I want us to be able to like, mention something and then like actually have a discussion about it.
Yes,
otherwise it's not going to be particularly interesting listening.
That's the plan, that there will be things that are interlooping, and we can share our thoughts together, and there will be things that I might have watched or you might have watched and I didn't and you didn't, and then we can just be interested about the topic, and there are news still going on that we can maybe mention and get into things, and that's what I want to start with actually, because
she's got things to talk about. Thank
yes,
God.
I do have things to talk about, because a huge thing happened very recently with Marvel. The MCU is back at full strength. We all knew for a while now that the Russo brothers are back to direct the next two Avengers movies. We knew that Robert Downey Jr. is back, not as Iron Man, but as Victor Doom, which is going to be very interesting to see. I'm still very excited about it. But now we have cast confirmation, and there are some very, very, very interesting and great and also worrisome things in there. So yeah, let's talk about it, and I think let's talk about the biggest surprise of the entire thing, which is the original, almost entire X-Men cast is back for Avengers Doomsday, including Ian McKellen, Patrick Stewart, Kelsey Grammer, Rebecca Romijn. So what
it's an interesting thing, because we have a little chat now for when we put together our Daredevil recording.
Yes.
So we're sort of constant communication
Yes.
with the other two guys on the podcast, Ian and Tom. And both of them sort of came along and went, this feels kind of stupid. And I was like, it's not, though.
It's not.
But his, like, in terms of, like, who is in the cast, I don't really have any, like, my only thing is that it feels like we're looking at the world's biggest selection of background actors,
yes.
like most expensive background actors. And I'm a bit like, I find it very difficult at this point in time, where we're at when it comes to the MCU, to feel genuine, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like,
excitement?
Just, like, well, yes, excitement, but like a certain type of excitement, undiluted excitement, you know,
okay.
no, excitement with no caveats.
Yes.
Whereas with this, I'm like, you know, it's difficult to look at it and be like, well, this is a marketing ploy. Like, it is. And I have to admit that the way that they did it was brilliant.
Yes.
From a marketing perspective, it was genius.
Yes.
Like, it did exactly as it was meant to do. And I think whoever came up with that whole concept needs a raise, because
100%. Yeah.
Like, it was just like, you just kind of have to give them a round of applause for coming up with, like, because you on the outside you look at it and go, what do you mean it was a 5-hour stream where they just unveiled some chairs? And I'm like, yeah, but it worked though, didn't it?
It worked, yeah.
Because everybody was fucking talking about it, and I was like, well, this is just like, you know, very transparent. And even there was then like, okay, but I need to keep it open because I need to see who else is coming in.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why it's so fucking brilliant. Yeah, the X-Men part of it feels a bit like two-sided to me, because on the one side, it's nice that we get these guys, especially a lot of them who haven't played these characters in a very long time,
yes,
get to come back and do this. But also after Deadpool versus Wolverine, it feels a little strange, because that felt like such a send-off for that entire era. Like, they were putting it to bed, and then they're like, and then they're back again, which is kind of what this entire sort of build up to this part of this new section of Avengers movies has felt like to me, where there's been a lot of back and forth thing between ideas in terms of, like, I mean, I understand they did have to pivot hard after Jonathan Majors got arrested, rightfully so, and all of that sort of stuff, and they had to kind of change up the entire plan that they had cooking into something else. I mean, it doesn't seem that quick, but in terms of like the long-term plan of it all, it is pretty quick. And plus with the amount that Marvel and Disney have been kind of hemorrhaging money over the past few movies because they've not been that good and people don't really care that much right now. They had to do something to be like, we have to get people to come back to the cinema at this point. And Ian made a very valid point about how he was a bit annoyed about the fact that they've clearly spoiled that several people from both, you know, Fantastic Four, which nobody was going to die in Fantastic Four.
No, that was very clear. Yeah.
That was not going to be a thing. But the fact that basically, like, I think it's pretty much everybody in Thunderbolts is also going to be back.
Yes.
I didn't consider that a bunch of people in Thunderbolts were going to die, but apparently that was on some people's minds, so I can understand the frustration on that front.
It was never on my mind.
Even if I was like, I wasn't even like, I didn't think that was going to happen, but
no.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Sorry, I guess. I don't know. What was I saying? I had a point that I was building.
Ian.
To, and it's like
Ian said that. Had a point.
Yeah. I don't. There was another. No, it's gone. The point is gone.
Oh.
It's disappeared from my brain. Fuck me. But like, yeah, the whole thing was like, it just, yeah, there's a lot of it's hard to not feel like this is a lot of sort of like, it's fan service essentially. We're putting fan service back in front and center in order to like bring people back to the movies. Oh, that was my point. It feels like Marvel doesn't have a whole lot of faith that the next two movies they have coming out this year are actually going to be the things that bring people back to the franchise. It feels to me like they're putting all of their big old expensive eggs into the Doomsday basket, and they're really banking on like getting as many like old cast and like people that they think that people will be excited for back into this film, rather than hoping that Thunderbolts or Fantastic Four are going to do anything new for them, because I really don't feel like they feel like that's going to happen. I don't know. It's hard for me to feel like this is excited about something that feels so much like a full-on marketing ploy, but I have to respect the hustle. Is kind of the vibe.
Yeah.
And plus, there are a couple of people that I am happy to see. Like Tom Hiddleston's going to be back. I'm always happy to see more Loki, especially after the end of Loki season 2.
To be fair, that's huge that Loki is actually huge. Back, because the way they closed Loki season 2 down, it's like, I think he's going to play a very pivotal role in the whole thing, because now he is the god of stories. So, you know, you literally can't separate him from this whole idea, because I think it's very, very clear that it's going to be, once again, a multiversal thing, because it can only be a multiversal thing, given that when Fantastic Four plays, given the X-Men cast coming back. I don't agree that Deadpool and Wolverine really did a send-off to X-Men, because that Wolverine was not from the timeline that we watched and experienced and whatnot. So
not so much a send off to X-Men, but just a send off to that era of movies, which just subsequently made it feel like it means that this feels a bit like they're bringing something back, that like just the era feels so closed. To bring a bunch of people from that era back into this thing, it feels kind of like, and then we're doing it again, and I kind of I don't know, it's just a dissonance thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was more interesting how many people are not on the list actually. Like, for example, Jeremy Renner or Haley Steinfeld, or, newly introduced characters like Simu is in, but Aquafina isn't. No Eternals outside at all. Like, no one.
Disappointing.
It is so disappointing. I'm not going to lie. I was like, damn it. And then, there are a bunch of people who are not confirmed. And then they made a post, and, there's still more seats that can be filled, or whatever it said.
I think they said something about like there'll be more names like either confirmed or they're going to hold on to them until the movie comes out, because there's like certain actors that actually just haven't been confirmed yet, or something like that, which is wild, because it is when they say it's in production, they've been filming at least for like a month, I think, at this point. And I won't lie, it worries me a bit that they're filming at the moment. The filming will last for another couple of months. Let's be real.
Yeah, with June, this big of a
I would argue like June. It seems like the right amount of time for a film like this to film until. But the movie comes out next May.
Next May, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a lot of time for them to do what is going to be an extraordinary amount of video effects. Which just speaks to the issue that Marvel has with the production timeline when it comes to special effects, or video effects and all that. So CGI, that's the word I'm looking for.
CGI, yes.
It's not a word. It's just sort of like, I don't know. There's I can see. I'm sort of sitting here with my hand on my chin, going, oh, okay. I hope this could be something good, but I don't have that much faith in it. Yeah.
I don't know. Some people said that they are trying too hard, and it's I don't know, because let's be honest, like they did already bring together a huge cast, both in Infinity War and at the end of Endgame as well, and they did it like it worked.
Sure, but I just feel like Endgame and Infinity War had a better setup. I think we're in a weaker place is the trouble for this many people to be in a movie. Going into this, it's much more unclear about like where this is going to go.
I agree on the level that, there are not 10 years behind the setup, obviously.
Yeah.
Because, no, we're not there yet. Jesus, imagine if another 10 years would have passed. Time is already going way too fast, so no. We're not there yet, but I don't think it's unreasonable. And I think, I always found the Russo brothers very fascinating because they created in my opinion, and I said this before, the best MCU movies with Winter Soldier, and they obviously did the 2 huge Avengers movies, and they were successful. And then whenever they are not working for the MCU, their movies are like
they make garbage,
kind of awful, or at the best meh. The only saving
arguably is worse.
It's the only one that I could say that I actually enjoyed and I don't think it's that bad is The Gray Man, and that's it. And I think that is only saved by Ryan Gosling and Chris Evans. So it's still not saying too much. So I still have faith in them. I think somehow they understand this universe well enough to work with it and to make something good. But this is the kind of movie where you really just have to wait and see. I don't think we can make any predictions at all. Like I can't. I have no idea what their plan is, what they want to come up with, how is it going to work, how much role certain actors will have. This feels like that. I think the ones that they showcase now with the chairs are probably the main core. And it doesn't mean that, others like the Marvel's cast or Tom Holland or other people can come in. Mark Ruffalo is not confirmed still. So, who knows? I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Really, it's like it was funny because I was sitting there like, I'm worried now because Pedro Pascal hasn't been confirmed and he was the last chair that they put out before they did Robert Downey Jr. And I was like, well, don't listen to me.
Yeah,
I don't know anything.
Pedro is there. Pedro is there. The biggest surprise. Who was the biggest surprise for you?
God, hang on. I'm gonna have to look at the
picture.
Picture again because I don't remember. It's 25 names, man. I don't remember names. I mean, somebody did point out that when it comes to this list, there's only 4 women in a set of 25 people, and that is just like, guys, come on now. Like, we just like, can we get it together? I'll say what did make me happiest.
Okay.
Was seeing that Channing Tatum is going to be back as Gambit.
That was my biggest surprise.
Because I think that was the one I was like, oh, but that's actually nice.
Yes.
That's actually really, because like obviously there was the hope that they were going to make a Gambit movie, and then it just sort of never came to fruition because of I think it was because Disney. Was it because Disney bought?
I think so.
Fox.
At the end, it went through a lot of like changes and whatnot, and it kept changing around, and then Disney bought Fox and. It died.
Yeah, just the whole thing died.
Yeah.
So it's just nice that he actually has the opportunity, not just to play him in what was it essentially, a bit role, but like with a lot of importance put behind the bit role.
Yes.
But it was a bit. It was part of a gag, as much as we can say. But it was also much like Deadpool getting leaked onto the internet back in 2014 when it was it. It was very much them going like kind of pushing him out in front and being like, can we do something with this? Because it could have been something.
Yeah.
So I'm just glad that he's getting another opportunity. That made me smile.
Same. It was also the biggest surprise. I was like, oh, what? Channing Tatum? Okay, that's cool. I really like that actually.
Yeah. I think, to be honest, I was surprised to see that we were getting more Tom Hiddleston, and it is the thing that I think will be drawing me towards this movie. Because I love Loki. I have done, since I saw Avengers back in 2012, as a little skinny little 16-year-old. So, I've said before, I do think that Loki, the series is one of the better things that the MCU has done post Endgame. I am sad at the idea that I don't know. There's just like I feel like Oscar Isaac needs another chance.
Yeah,
I miss Moon Knight, and it really feels like they abandoned that pretty quickly after. And it was one of the better ones, you know.
Yeah,
he did so much good work in that.
Yeah.
I was also kind of hoping to see Charlie Cox there, but he's also very busy filming the second season of Born Again at the moment, so unsurprising, really. But I was sitting there like, come on. Same with Tom Holland, because he's off, you know, being somebody in the Odyssey. I cannot. He's somebody with a really long name, and I think it begins with a T. Fuck me. I've been reading so much Greek mythology stuff recently as well. I just read a book called The Hymn to Dionysus, which was fantastic, by the way. It's you can't, people can't see, but it's here. That's where it is on my shelf. I pointed to it.
Yes, she did.
People listening at home,
she did.
I pointed to it. I just can't remember his name, and it's bugging me. I know that Zendaya's playing Athena.
Yes,
but that's about it. And Matt Damon is Odysseus.
Yes.
Himself,
which I love.
Nobody himself.
I love that Matt Damon is.
I have been seeing some people like Greek mythology and Greek historians looking at the costumes and being like, guys, come on, we can do better than this. It was the hat specifically, the helmet with the trestle, which is apparently completely historically inaccurate for the time period.
No.
So
well.
was like, and it's one of those things where I'm like, I don't know, man. Gladiator 2 was apparently, completely inaccurate, but it was still fun to watch.
Yeah, exactly. Entertainment's about fun. Sometimes you don't have to be fully historically accurate.
I also understand the pain of knowing something very well and seeing people make a thing about that thing you know very well and being like, what the fuck, guys?
It happens. You can never make everyone happy. So, I just decided to let these kind of things go a long time ago. But yes, Tom Holland. But so many people are not included that I'm really just wondering, like,
what are we doing?
What's the What's the plan with them? It still hurts that the Eternals disappeared. And the Eternals included two of my favorite people in the world, which is Angelina Jolie and Madong Seok, or Donley, if the people know that name a bit better, maybe. So I'm a bit disappointed, but also not surprised. I gotta say. I think I am more surprised with people like Mark Ruffalo or Tom Holland or Benedict Cumberbatch not being included on the list.
I feel like Benedict Cumberbatch did confirm recently that he thought he wasn't in it, and then he kind of did a 180 and went, no, I am in it. Or like he's going to be more prevalent in in Secret Wars or something like that. There was like a thing I remember seeing.
I don't know.
That is the vibe around the entire thing, really. Man, fucking.
We have to wait and see. That's I kind of really hope for one thing though, which I know it's not going to come true, but I think if they are smart, they will show very, very little. Like, I know they will never do just one trailer because that's impossible at this day and age. I will definitely only watch one trailer, the very first one that they're going to release. And after that, I'm done. I'm out. I don't care. I want to see the movie. But I kind of wish that they really wouldn't. Like, that would be maybe one or two and that's it. And they would stop and wouldn't just give away bits and pieces, little crumbles in like teasers and Super Bowl spots and whatever they like to do. But again, we just have to wait and see, I guess, how it's going to go. And yes, I think that was one of the biggest things that got announced since we last spoke. And then, now it's time to talk about things that we've been watching and enjoying. And I think we could potentially start with two things that we've both been watching. We're not going to talk about Daredevil because we are talking about it.
We have talking about Daredevil and watching now.
Yes.
I have lots of thoughts on it, and they're completely different to what everybody else is thinking, and also the opposite of what you probably are expecting.
Yes. I'm the critical one now, so I don't know what happened.
I just love Daredevil.
I know you do.
I love Matt Murdock so much.
I know. I love Wilson Fisk, and I still very much do. But yes, so I think let's first talk about Mickey 17 because that was the original plan to have a review on it.
We should talk about that.
So let's talk about Mickey 17. Just so you all know, I am the one who read the book before watching the movie, and Katie's the one who haven't read the book. She has the book because she got it from me.
I know where it is. It's in the drawer in the other room, and I do need to read it, but I've also been on a bit of a reading, not like, I just haven't been able to read recently.
Yeah, same. Fully understand.
I have one of the Horses book just on the go, and I've just, every once in a while, I'm like, oh, I should read that, and then I sit in bed and I read like a page or two, and then I go, I'm bored, and I put it down.
Yeah.
And the book is good, but I think the trouble is I already know what's going to happen because I watched the series, and they're really faithful adaptations. So I'm a bit like, fuck it. But then I got the Him to Dionysus, which I just mentioned. It's actually not out for another couple of days technically, but I pre-ordered it, and you know what pre-orders of books are like, they just kind of get them in stock and they go, nah, fuck it, and then they send them out to people.
Nice.
So I read that in 2 days. It's the new Natasha Pulley book, which if people have been listening for long enough, they'll know Natasha Pulley is the writer of The Watchmaker of Filigree Street, which back when we talked about our books we want to see adapted, that's the one I talked about.
Yes.
So that was her new book, and I love Natasha Pulley in the way that all of her books are fundamentally the same, but it's just great every time. There's not that much of a surprise in terms of how the plot progresses, but she makes really interesting worlds. But the two characters that you expect to end up in a relationship do in fact end up in a relationship at the end of it, and I love it every single time. But yes, I have Mickey 7. It's in the other room. I'll get to it one day.
Please do. So I'm gonna let you talk first on your thoughts and whatnot, and then I can jump in.
Yeah, I'm gonna also just say now we're probably gonna just talk about spoilers.
Yes.
Just to put it out there. And when we start putting these out, we're gonna name them with the things that we talk about within the episode. I'll make a little list of things that we heavily spoil in the description, just so that people are aware. Because we might mention things by name, but that we don't get into spoilers on certain things. But if we are spoiling certain things, I will put that in the description as the first thing to see. So, but yes, spoilers for Mickey 17. But I really liked it. I just thought it was it's not so... Let me stop myself and get a hold of my thoughts and then continue the sentence.
Yes.
Bong Joon-Ho's work is... And I realised this after the fact, because I watched Cinema Wins put a video out about Snowpiercer, which I had watched, I think it was last year, maybe the year before last. But I watched it in recent memory, basically. And it was a reminder that usually he makes really biting, sharp political commentary. And it's not that this movie doesn't have a lot of biting political commentary in it. It's just softer, just in the nature of what he's going for in it. Because there's almost it's not a hatred, but a really critical finger that he's pointing at, capitalism and society and all these things. In a way that it's not cynical, but it is assertive. But there's something so lovely about the movie that's kind of surprising. I think, in that it feels like a movie that really loves the concept of humanity very dearly, even though there are still very terrible people in the film, and all this sort of stuff. It's a much lighter look on certain things, and I was surprised at how moved I was by certain moments in it about just the nature of personhood and identity and how just how we connect to other people. Don't get me wrong, it's not his most clear piece. Like, obviously Parasite is kind of unparalleled when it comes to that sort of thing, and it manages to juggle a lot of genres very deftly. But I kind of liked how messy it was in certain ways, in that, like, it felt very, like, the messiness of the plot almost felt like it was mirrored in the messiness of the way that humans are, if that makes sense. I mean, Robert Pattinson gives, once again, another career best performance. It's kind of amazing. It's one of those things, whenever somebody plays two characters in a thing, they're always really good at it. I don't think I've seen anybody who's not been able to do it, because I think the people who aren't able to do it, they just kind of don't cast those people. The people who do. So, like, Tom Hardy in
Legend.
The Cray Brothers movies.
Legend.
What was it?
Legend.
Yeah, Legend, that was it. I regularly forgot was one person playing two people. I was just sitting there like, that is two people.
Yes.
And it's the same with Robert Pattinson in this movie. But it's a little bit more meta, because I think you're a little bit more aware of them, because it's obviously like the intention is that this is the same person and all this sort of stuff. But the performances are so embodied in both 17 and 18 that it's like, yeah, I buy into this. Of course I do. And the voice does actually work really well for the performance. I don't know. I just was very charmed by it, I think is the thing. I think Naomi Ackie, especially, there's like a sort of, it's not even a monologue, it's more of a rant. It's like I don't really know how to describe it, but when she screams at Mark Ruffalo's character, I was like, oh god damn. Yeah. This is like that was like, because I think in the lesser hands that could have seemed hammy. And with her, it was really like, I felt the anger, you know. I felt it. And I was just very impressed by that whole thing. Yeah, I don't know. I just really enjoyed it myself. Yeah, a solid 4-star movie, you know?
Okay.
You read the book.
I read the book.
So you had expectations.
Yes.
And did the change in, like, the way that Bong has taken it and made it very much a Bong Joon-Ho thing annoy you? Or was it just that, like, you know, it was different, so it was kind of weird?
I think after sitting on it for a while now, because we watched it at almost at the beginning of March. Yeah. I think it annoys me. I'm not gonna lie, because the book is very, very different. Like, I think I even wrote you that, except for the first scene, everything has been changed. Because it is exactly how the book starts. Is how the movie starts. Like, it's the same. It's the same. I was even like, oh, okay, that's, you know. I even imagined it like that. So I was very happy with it. And then it started to, because what the book does is, like, one chapter is the present and they are on the planet, and you know, the whole Mickey 7 and 8 thing happen and whatnot, and one chapter is looking back at the past Mickeys, of like how it started, what was the first time he died, what was the second time he died, what was the third time, fourth time, blah blah blah. I mean, go on and go on. And it is he changed so much. And keep in mind that I love Bong Joon-Ho. Like, he is one of the best directors out there in my book, and he really understands characters and storytelling and heart, like, you know, the heart of his films. And I don't think it's different here. I just really think that I really shouldn't have read the book, because
I was glad that I didn't. I won't lie.
Yes, because it's too different. So we're at the point where I always said that I think the best adaptations are the ones that are brave enough to differ enough that it still feels like the book you read. So I don't know if that makes sense.
No, I get what you mean. The adaptation really should be from, like, a thematic standpoint. Like, as long as you get the essence of the book,
Yeah.
then like the specific like notes can be different and still feel like they could have come from the book.
Yeah, exactly. But this is just so different from how the book is that, man, especially, and you know, I have a problem with this. I think all our listeners have a problem with this. That dinner scene, that never happens in the book, by the way. That's not a thing. Mark Ruffalo's character is not a politician. He's actually like a commander, like a soldier,
Right.
like a proper soldier and whatnot. I know that the whole shtick was just, you know, a mirror towards Trump, even the teeth, the way Mark Ruffalo was
I
talking.
think specifically the way that Mark Ruffalo was doing it was very Trumpian. I think that Bong was coming from a place of like, I lived in Korea and have like been witness to dictators. my whole life.
Yeah, exactly. But that dinner scene, you know, I always say this. Why do people have to throw up in our face?
Do you know, I kind of forgot that it happened. Like,
and that's, you know, that's always a vivid memory for me, like whenever it happens in a movie, and it kind of ruins it. So like, and the whole thing is that once I read the book, and the book is Mickey 7, so there's only 7 Mickeys, and then the 8th one comes out, and you know, when I heard that when I realized that with 17 what they're doing is probably just find new ways to introduce that, and that's exactly what they did. Like, you know, a lot of the stuff that are in it are obviously not in the book because there are just less lives that Mickey lived. I don't know, the whole thing just felt too messy. It felt too different from what's in the book, and I think it lost the meaning of the book, because the entire thing about the book is that, first of all, they never start from Earth. They are already, every people is in space because we ruined Earth so much that it's unlivable. We live at a big space station, and they send out these, you know, these exploration missions, and that's why the Expendables exist, to try and find a new home for humanity. And except for another planet where they find, you know, signs of life, this is the newest planet that they are at, and the fact that they find intelligent life is kind of a big deal once they realize that, oh, actually these creepers are thinking and they have feelings, and you know, it becomes a question of like taking, you know, the whole, you know, what was colonization thing. And I think it's just too different from that, and I kind of miss that they just don't really do anything with that in the end, because it's not really in it, it's part of it. I kind of wish that they would have left the creepers out completely then, if they wanted to do like more of a humans political thing kind of narrative.
Yeah, I can see what you mean. I just don't think that they could. I don't think the movie would exist without.
I know
the creepers do exist. It like fulfill a very important narrative function within it. You know.
Yeah. But
also, they're so cute.
So cute.
You've seen the little. Have you seen the little plushies that a bunch of? I want one so bad.
I was really glad that with how they did them. I'm not gonna lie, it's very cute, very very well done as well. So yeah, I all together the performances are fucking great. I can appreciate what Bong Joon-Ho was going for, but yeah, I shouldn't have read the book. That's my conclusion, because I think because of that, it made it into like a 3-star movie at best. And I will probably not watch it again. I'm not going to lie. But yeah, Robert Pattinson is great.
I do understand. Because, yeah, it was one, the more I read about it, the more I read, like, because I read a lot about, like, how Bong was, like, at least in the people who saw it before the movie came out were, like, he's very much taken this thing and made it into his, like,
that's very true.
Processed it through him.
Yes.
For sure. And I got a lot of sense of the fact that, like, it was very different from the original material. So
Yes.
the more I read about it, the more I was like, I don't think I should read this book first.
Yeah, you probably made the right decision.
So I just kind of was like, this can wait until they do. And I sit in a very strange place with that sort of thing now as well, where more often than not, when there's like an adaptation coming, like even with Slow Horses, which I just love and like enjoying so much, there's like a huge part of me that's like, I don't think I want to read ahead of where the show is at, because I don't want to know, because I really am enjoying the process of watching it for the first time. So I don't want to know what's about to happen or have like an expectation about what's going to happen. So it's I don't know, it's a tricky place to be.
Yeah.
It is, yeah. I don't know. I thought I had another thought there, but it vanished.
Disappeared. It disappeared.
It went poof.
Poof.
It just went.
Yes.
But I just liked it. I do think the end, like the sort of build up to the third act, is too long.
Too long.
It's a movie that like it
overstays its welcome a little bit.
Yeah, it's one of those ones I'm like, oh man, it's just a little bit. We're starting to wear slightly. Also, and I'm gonna say it, I was disappointed that Robert Pattinson didn't sleep with himself.
I think everyone was disappointed.
I wanted to see it and it didn't happen. 18 was clearly into it. Come on, 17.
It
like, I get it, but also I was like, boo.
And that's why you should read the book, probably.
This is what I've heard.
Okay. The other thing that both of us are watching, and it's not done yet, is the Pitt.
So much.
Yesterday I caught up with, because I missed 3 episodes, so I caught up with it.
Oh God, you're in hell with the rest of us now.
I am in hell. But I will say this: I know it's not as big of an achievement, but the first episode, after the first episode, because I think it happens in the first episode, I said there's going to be a shooting, and his son is going to be included, and it's going to be in detail, and I'm like, fuck yeah, I was right.
It was that thing of like, oh God, I knew with the inclusion of Jake that something was going to happen.
Yes.
It was really, they did a really great job of setting it up. Like all of the pieces are there throughout the whole thing. So when it happened, I was like, oh fucking, of course that's the way it's gonna go.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen a trailer beforehand, so I think that the initial trailer did show that there was like they had to go into triage and help with the, beg your pardon, with the influx of like casualties from a mass event of some kind.
Yes.
But I had no idea about that going in to it. I just had heard that it was, a medical drama, and people were saying it was really good, and I love medical dramas. It's exactly the sort of show that 8 episodes into it, because I caught up around episode 7 having come out, I was like, why doesn't this show have 5 seasons and 50 billion episodes already?
Yeah.
Where I was like, I want to be watching this extensively all the time.
Yes. Yeah, I feel the same.
And it is genuinely, and it's so nice to have something coming in like every week to watch. And the 1 hour format, obviously 24 was the first to really do it in this way, but it works really well for a medical drama.
Yeah.
And Wiley's wonderful. I mean, like I'm so torn, because I really would love. I mean, they're not going to do it because it's not being recognized by sort of awards bodies that much anyway. I would love for Jacob Anderson to get recognition for lead actor at the Emmys for Interview with the Vampire, because he's fucking fantastic. He's fucking fantastic in the first season, but he was really fantastic in the second season. But then that performance that Noah Wiley gave in the last episode that we watched, which was episode 13 for people wondering.
Yes.
I was like, Emmys. Just get Emmys.
Yes, just Emmys. Everything. Yeah.
Emmys. And again, I'm also like, but I also want Severance to win a bunch of Emmys. I want everybody to win Emmys. There's been really good TV.
Yeah.
But like that last scene in the last episode was so heartbreaking.
It was.
And this is already a show that's made me cry multiple times throughout this season anyway.
Yeah.
But like, And it was like so inevitable. We already knew he was going to have that. Like, I even texted you, like, this man's not getting out of it without having a breakdown. But it was so good.
It was
a good breakdown.
It was. I honestly, like, because I was born in 1990, so no surprise to anyone. I grew up with ER, where Noah Wiley played Dr. Carter. So he's been very near and dear to my heart ever since then. He is the reason I started watching The Pitt, because it just showed up on Max. I was like, oh, is that Noah Wiley in another medical drama? Maybe I should watch this. And that's how I started to watch it. And it's really hard to say because I really, really love ER, although it was one of the first ones that, not one of the first ones, but one of the biggest ones that, made medical drama into drama more, like,
right.
Just having the personal relationships more in focus and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I hate to say this, but The Pitt is already just
better
doing rounds around ER.
Yeah. I started watching ER. I started the first episode because ER is on 4 on demand. And I was like, well, people talk about ER so much. I will give this a go. And I won't lie, the first episode, while good, was also like clearly 2 episodes in one. And I got kind of bored because it was really long.
It takes time.
And there was like, it was slow in a way that I was like, I don't know. I know this was going to be the question I hoped to ask somebody. I was like, when does this get like really good? Because I know it does.
It does.
I know that people really, really love it. It was that thing of like that very first episode. It's almost like nightmare material in terms of like, Noah Wiley shows up, Dr. Carter shows up. It's his first day. He has absolutely no idea how to do anything, and they're just like, go sew up a bunch of people, and I'm like, what the? I would be dying.
Yep, pretty much.
Like, I don't know what the fuck to do. You gotta show me what to do.
Yeah,
and he's just like, and it like put me off a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, this is like a level of like, it's not even cringe, but just like, like fear. Like, I'm like, I don't know if I can deal with this. I might go back. I'll probably go back to it at some point. Just to like.
It's worth it. It's worth it. Like, I'm not saying you should watch all of the seasons because after a while, for me, where ER died is this still a spoiler?
I mean, I don't know anything, so you can say a certain character, if you want to.
ER died for me when Dr. Green died. I think that's when, and I think it's season 7 or something like that.
Yeah, that's the impression I got from the internet. Yeah. I don't mind too much because it's that sort of thing where I'm like,
it's
like
been around.
Famous, it's one of those like, this is like a milestone moment that will come up at some point.
It will. And
yeah. So season 7, it was the vibe that I was getting from the internet about like when it sort of fell off a bit. But like also, it's one of those things when you look on IMDb, some of the highest like top rated episodes are from like 10 and 11, and like even further beyond.
Yeah.
So it's always like. The overall show falls down, but then like some of the really good ones end up being past the fact.
It is what it is.
But you're right that The Pitt is, it's so watchable.
It is,
which is nice. It's like it's very intelligent. It doesn't. I don't feel like at any point it's really talking down to its audience.
No,
it's nice to watch something that genuinely feels like it is. Like medically accurate, and it is because my sort of one of my pastimes recently has been, oh look, another doctor on YouTube is reacting to The Pitt. I'll watch that. There's been a fair few. I've watched a fair few of them at this point, and there's been a couple that have come back and done like more episodes, and I'm like, thank God. And it's really nice because some of them are like will pick out things that they're like, hey, that's really strange to me, and other ones will be like, no, that's really accurate. So it's like. It's interesting to see where some people are like kind of pushing in one direction while other people are pushing in the other direction. But overall, people are like, no, that's like the medicine part of it feels really accurate.
I mean, I think the moment Dr. Mike said that it's the most medically accurate drama out there, then skyrocket the entire show.
He did point out the fact that at like episode 2 or 3, the chest compressions are not very good, and I'm not against him saying that either, because I feel like at this point we do have to get to a place where we can do accurate chest compressions without hurting people. Like, if they can show a realistic birth in full detail, I think we can get to like accurate chest compression.
I was flabbergasted by that. I was like,
that was amazing.
You're gonna show it?
Puppetry. It was puppetry.
I know.
Like that's incredible.
I know. I'm not saying it's not, but it's like, I keep forgetting that this show is just like, you know, in your face. Like, there you go. That's how it happens. And I'm like, okay.
I was sitting there like, oh, wow. Because, like, so I went to, you know, when it came to sex education in you know, primary school, I went to Catholic school.
Yes.
It wasn't, I don't remember it, like, I remember, like, I vaguely remember, you know, having a sex education, like, lesson. But, like, it was not particularly in depth, funnily enough. So, like, so many people talk about, like, you know, watching videos of, like, actual childbirth. I never did any of that. I, like, truly have never really seen
Me neither.
an accurate childbirth. That's probably the closest I've ever gotten to it. So it was sitting there like, oh, that's really fascinating, actually. It also made me go, I never want children, even more than that.
Yeah, same. I was like, nope. Not.
Like, I already knew, but, like, thank you.
Exactly.
I'm good.
I'm good. Thank you very much. You just made me 100% more sure. But, yeah.
But in the same way that I find, like, x-rays of people's, like, if you've seen x-rays of, like, kids before they've had their teeth fall out, like, if you see, like, a skull and you can see all the teeth that are still in there, I find that, like, it's gross, but, like, I'm looking at it with absolute fascination, because it is, like, the human body is cool as shit. Like, the ability, like, we're just hiding teeth in, that's amazing.
Yeah. I could live without that image in my head. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm sorry to everybody who really didn't want to picture that, but they're really fucking cool.
Yeah, the Pitt is really something else, and I'm, you know, because I am once again at the point in my life where I can't. I've been trying to watch new things. I really couldn't. Like, I think it's March already, and usually by this point I've at least seen 25 or 30 new things. Now we're at...
It's April tomorrow.
7. We're at 7.
Yeah.
So it's really not going well for me.
You've also been really busy. I won't lie, though.
That's true. That is true. I'm not gonna...
Which, you know, you're always really busy, but I feel like you're in a very, like you have, like, a very high-pressure job currently that's taking up a lot of your time, plus a lot of travel.
Yes, that's very true. It's been a bit hard. So yeah, but let's quickly talk about things that we've seen and the other didn't. So why don't you go first and tell me if you've seen anything that I've didn't?
I've started watching The Wheel of Time.
Okay.
I for a little while I've been thinking about it, but with season 3 that's currently coming out at the moment, and like, I just was suddenly like, it was a lot of things. Partly the guy who played Orpheus in the version of Hadestown that I saw on the West End a couple of times last year, he took over for one of the characters in season 2.
Okay.
And I was like, well, I want to see more of him because he's fantastic.
Okay.
And he's already, like, even going into the first season, I'm like, yes, this is absolutely a character that I would care about more than most other ones. So that's always fun. And, you know, I've said this before, I don't usually do well with high fantasy. It's not my usual bag.
Yes.
I can find it very daunting at times, but, like, I there was something about, like, the way that they use magic on the show is really inventive and fascinating, and like, just visually interesting to watch. That I was kind of like, I am intrigued, so I will give this a go. And so I'm, like, part the way through season 2. I haven't been able to like sit down and just like binge it in a way, because I think at a certain point I start like, again, it's that thing of like, this feels a bit big, I need to take a break from it. But I've been slowly making my way through. I'm like halfway through season 2, and it's just got it's got some great characters. The costuming is gorgeous. Like, you know how in fantasy shows a lot of the times the costuming can feel really cheap. It's like night and day to like something like when you can tell that like they've really decided to take care of the costuming. I love the costuming so much. It's also nice the amount of stuff that feels like real leather that they're using. It feels like it just like, I don't know, it just looks fantastic. Especially there was like a tweet that went around of somebody being pissy about like, oh, this is not what like medieval fantasy should look like. And I'm like, well, for one thing, it's not medieval fantasy. It's a post-apocalyptic world. So that's where we get stuck. And I think it's part of the reason why I like it as well. Because, I mean, part of like Exandria for the Critical Role universe is also a post-apocalyptic world. It's that feeling of like, this is a heavily magic society. But at one point we apexed, and now we're having to like pick ourselves back up. It's like, it's been a long time, but we're picking ourselves back up after that fact. So there's a feeling of like, oh, it's medieval, but it's like not really. It's technically post-apocalyptic. I like that. Yeah, and I just like, characters are all really interesting. That being said, Rand is very much that kind of like white male like lead character who kind of just feels kind of boring. So they had to give him the most interesting like thing in order to make him a more interesting character, which is nothing to say. The guy who plays him is wonderful. I actually think he's doing a really good, interesting job with him. But like it's like Mal in Shadow and Bone. It's like that archetype of character where it's like he's very honorable and nice and all these sorts of things. And they've given him a lot of stuff to make him a lot more interesting in that sense. But like he is very much like straight arrow, honorable guy. Yeah. Which makes me go, you're just not as interesting as some of the other guys here. The women are all fantastic though. And it's a very woman-driven show.
Yeah, that's what I heard as well.
There's got a lot of great women in it. Yeah. You know? Yeah. Excellent. And then you've also got Lan, who's played by Henry Simmons, who I was looking at. I'm like, that. Hang on, I might be. No, his name is Matt Simmons in. Okay. In Criminal Minds, his name is Henry something though, and I have to look it up because I've done this a couple of times now. Okay. He plays Lan, the guy I'm thinking of anyway, and he's lovely, and just so good in it. He's like proper. He's like a proper knight, and very emotional, and I must look him up properly so I get his name right as opposed to mixing his character name up with his actual name. Hang on a second. No, so his name's Daniel Henney. His character in Criminal Minds was called Matthew Simmons. Okay. His name is Daniel Henney, but he plays a character called Lan, and he's, I think, wonderful. He's like a proper samurai type, you know. Yeah, it's just I am really enjoying it, and I'm enjoying taking my time going through it. That's good as well. And then obviously Severance finished last week, but like I think you can see every opinion on the planet about Severance elsewhere. It's one of those. It was fantastic, a little overstuffed. If I am being honest. Okay. And the immediate discourse that started after the finale made me go, cool, I don't want to talk about this in any detail anymore because I've already filled up my quota of like, great. Because you know when you watch something really good and the feeling of like, I just need to talk about this with somebody, right? But when it's something that like this, where it's already kind of like the zeitgeist moment, so everybody's already talking about it, I satisfied that need basically immediately. Where I'm like, I'm good. I've had my discussions about this with the people that I want to talk about it with. Now I'm going to put it out of my brain for the next 2 years while I'm at the next season. But it is fantastic. And it's just very inventive, and I love Severance, obviously. But, yes. I don't need to talk about it anymore. Okay. You said you haven't been watching a whole lot. Is there anything that you have watched that you would like to talk about?
But I can now say that, thanks to my very lovely boyfriend, he convinced me, and I have to admit, because there is this series that for a very, very long time I didn't want to watch because I had an acquaintance who was obsessed with it to the point where it got really fucking annoying, and I just couldn't even look at the damn thing. It's a little show called Adventure Time. And we've been watching it. We're at season 5 now. We've been watching it together, and I have to admit, it is, it's much more than what I've expected from it, because when there are people who get way too obsessed with things, to the point where no matter how hard they try to convince you to watch it or check it out, because of their obsession, they just ruin the whole thing, kind of, if that makes sense. So that's what happened with Adventure Time for me. So for a very long time, I thought that this is just the worst thing that you can possibly enjoy and watch, and it's just awful. Yeah, it's not. I even now own an Adventure Time T-shirt because
my God.
Yeah. I have to be fair, and I have to admit that it is actually very, very enjoyable. It has some very emotional moments that really got to me, and I never thought they would. And as the whole story is slowly, I am slowly piecing it together of like, what's the bubble that this whole world lives in. I'm like more and more intrigued to find out like, what's the big picture? Like, what are we building towards? So I am very much intrigued by Adventure Time currently, and I very much enjoy watching it with my lovely, lovely boyfriend. It's been a great time. And we finally watched, or I finally watched because he didn't even know it existed. But thanks to me and thanks to my obsession with Korean movies, there was this one movie that I couldn't find anywhere. He found it first try. Fuck my life. Because I just couldn't find it. And I just told him about it, and he found it first try. I was like, fuck, I should have just told you from the beginning. It's called Door Lock, and everyone kept praising it as one of the best Korean thrillers. I think it might be one of my biggest disappointments.
Oh, wow.
I'm not gonna lie. I was very disappointed by it. I was like, oh, I expected something completely different from this. Like, because it has a very, very, very good poster that I was just very intrigued by, that they used in the article where they wrote about the best Korean thrillers that you can watch. And I really like that poster. And I had this very vivid image in my head of what I wanted to see or what I was expecting.
That's always hard when you feel like you have a real solid sense of what something is, and it just doesn't hit in the way you want it to. Moon was that for me. I really thought I had a sense of what Moon, like the Sam Rockwell,
which
like I really
love.
thought, but I went into it thinking it was going to be more of a mystery element than it was. There isn't really any mystery about what's going on. It very much tells you everything from the off. And so I spent the whole movie expecting a shoe to drop. There was no shoe.
Nope.
There was no shoe at all. So I was a bit like, oh. And I feel like if I were to watch it again, I might enjoy it more just because I'm enjoying it for the thing that it is. But like, I totally get that vibe of just sort of like, this just wasn't what I wanted it to be.
No, not even close. So... yeah, oh well, it is what it is. And I don't know if I mentioned this the last time we talked about it or not, but I did. I think I did mention it that we did watch Companion with Jack Quaid.
Yeah, you mentioned.
Yeah, I mentioned it. Okay, good. I really enjoyed that one. That was exactly the type of silly fun that I needed in my life. So it was not what it wasn't what I was expecting, but in the end it worked out. So I still very much enjoyed it. But that's it. I really haven't been watching anything. There are a few things coming up that I am very much intrigued by. One of them is one that I thought that I wouldn't be able to watch because I didn't know it's going to be on Netflix. I don't even remember seeing it as Netflix advertising it, and it just suddenly popped up on my timeline that it's actually going to be on Netflix in April. It's a Korean thriller called Tarot or Karma. I don't remember which one, but one of these very big words, big words, Karma or Tarot. And it is, I think it's Karma. It is about a connection between 8 people and how their stories intertwine, basically. And it looks very interesting. So I'm very intrigued by that. But yeah, that's it.
I had one more thing.
Yes.
I watched this the other night. I'd been thinking about doing this for absolutely ages, and I finally decided to just bite the bullet, rent it the other day. I watched Singing in the Rain.
Oh, wow. Okay. A real classic.
A proper classic. And you know what? It was really good.
It is a really good movie.
Everybody who were like, is like, yeah, but Singing in the Rain's one of the best movies ever made. And I'm like, yeah, they're right about that, actually.
Yeah.
It just still works as it is.
Yep.
And watching Gene Kelly just, be Gene Kelly. And I was sitting there like, we are missing movies in which somebody can break, like, just really incredibly skilled dancers can do like 5-minute like dance breaks and be fantastic. And like I miss that. Like I feel like we need more of that.
Yeah.
And I was like, I said to my best friend, I was like, you know what, Triple Threat used to mean something.
Yeah.
And I was just like, it was just an all-round joy. It was just a lovely movie.
It is.
With some great numbers in it. The sets are incredible. It still looks fantastic, which is the great thing about printing on film, is that you can upscale it to still look amazing all these years later. I was just, I was glad to sit down and just like enjoy what it was.
Yeah.
Just some excellent dancing. I love watching, especially men. Obviously, it's just great to watch anybody dance, but I love it when men like can dance that well.
Oh, yeah.
And in that way.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's like a certain type of modern dance that works very well with men as well, but like that classical trained like dance, especially, it's why I love watching Strictly every year, because whenever we get a male celebrity who can dance like that, I'm thrilled.
Yeah.
And it also has like a weirdly uncanny like ability to just make me cry. Don't know what it is about it, but it does happen. I will watch men dance really well and I will want to sob. It's bizarre, but I'm like, it's just amazing. I love it so much. But yeah, Singing in the Rain, it's one of those things where it's like, it's a classic and I've been thinking about watching it for such a long time. I'm glad that I sat down and finally did it. So this is your sign. You, person potentially listening to this, if you're like, I need to watch a classic movie at some point, make it Singing in the Rain.
Yeah, exactly. Or Shawshank Redemption, but that's what I always say.
What? I mean, I'm talking about like classic.
I know.
50s,
Fine.
40s.
All right. This is our time up. So everyone out there, don't forget, from now on, you will only hear us once a month for a while, for a time, who knows how long. I'm not going to predict anything. But we will be back. And we will do these little big extended rants, I guess, in a way.
It's like a proper podcast.
It is a proper podcast, yes. We're still talking about movies and films, so it's all good.
Yeah. Movies and films.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so movies and TV shows. So.
Movies and also films.
Yes.
And also films and motion pictures.
Motion pictures. But we will
Cinema.
We will be back.
Yeah.
And if you want to see our lovely faces, you can do that on Couch Soup with the Watching Now podcast. We are currently talking about Daredevil Born Again, and we will be back for Endor Season 2 as well. Until then, be good and watch movies. That's the most important message this podcast can
Always important.
Yeah. So, yeah, be good, subscribe, rate, watch movies, and goodbye.
Goodbye, friends.
Bye.
Cut the check. 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 That's it. Cut the check. We're done. Cut the check. Oh, that was good. Cut the check. Oh, yeah.